Hello, everyone. I'm Shawnte, also known as Coach Tay. I'm a board certified holistic health practitioner, and I support clients with nutrition, lifestyle, and habits, and of course, metabolic health. I'm really glad you're here and taking the time to learn about the AO scan and how I use it in my practice. Before we begin, though, I want to just set a few important expectations. The AO scan is a wellness and informational tool, it is not a medical device. It does not diagnose conditions, and it does not replace medical care. So I use it in a way to help identify patterns and priorities to help guide supportive lifestyle and wellness conversations with my clients. I know that being introduced to new technology, especially something that uses language related to the body, can be, a little confusing sometimes, bring up curiosity, questions, and even skepticism. And that's completely normal. This session is meant to be educational and reassuring, not overwhelming. You don't need to understand everything at once. That is why I invited today's guest. I am so honored to introduce Dr. J. Paul Vanden Heuvel. Dr. J was what we're going to call him because I do not want to keep messing up his name, has over 35 years of experience in integrative and holistic health with advanced training that bridges conventional healthcare, bioenergetic wellness approaches. He has worked with tens of thousands of clients, lectured internationally, authored books, and contributed to education and research in the integrative health space. He holds multiple advanced degrees in integrative and holistic health, including doctoral and PhD level training in integrative medicine, holistic health sciences, and related areas. What I value most, though, about Dr. J is his heart for people. His passion for learning and continued growth comes from just that genuine desire to help others. And that compassion really shows in the way he teaches, practices, and shares the information that he has. He's actually the person that introduced me to the AO scan. And I really trust his ability to explain it clearly so my audience can grasp the multitude of this technology. So today's conversation is meant to help you understand what the AO scan is, what it is not, and how this type of technology is meant to be used responsibly. Now, my role in your care is to help interpret information in a grounded and supportive way. And his role today is to help explain the technology itself. So with that said, thank you so much for being here, Dr. J. Let's start with just the basics. First of all, how are you doing today?
Great. Hi, Coach Tay. Hello, everyone. I'm very, very thankful and I'm full of gratitude in this new year of 2026 to be a part of this presentation. Thank you. I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm doing very well today. I'm very happy to have you here.
Thank you.
We're going to start off with just the framing and the foundations of this technology
Uh,
to help our clients feel safe and oriented. So, the
yeah,
first question it is for clients who are brand new to this, how would you describe what the AO scan is in simple terms?
yeah. Great question. And a lot of these questions are going to generate thoughts and what I call rabbit holes in my brain. So please, audience, forgive me if I get a little long-winded. You can always back it up and listen to it again. Because, sometimes I get a little diarrhea of the mouth, when it comes to trying to help people.
That's because
Um,
you love to teach, Dr. J.
Thank you. Because, it's a big old goofy world, right? We know that.
Mhm.
And every day we turn on the news and we get a little sadder. And sometimes you just want to pull your hair out, and we're told the air is bad, the water's bad, the food is bad, people are bad. It just doesn't stop,
Right.
But the biggest threat that we see in today's world, believe it or not, is the unseen, the invisible, the things you don't see, the things you don't hear about, the things that are not talked about. I just want to preface to answer that question, Coach Tay, by saying 96% of the universe you cannot see. It doesn't mean it doesn't exist. As we have
Mhm.
found out through the studies of quantum physics as well as Newtonian physics, there's a whole bunch of stuff that we can't see. If you look at a dog or even a cat, they have a different sight structure than we do. Some animals, mammals, plants, they see things in different colors, different spectrums. So if we look at something like a visible wave spectrum, humans are confined to a little spot in the middle. But there are wavelengths or frequencies or vibrations that are all the way outside to the right and the left of that, which creates a massive graph. But this is only what we're seeing, but this is what exists. So that's one thing you have to understand first before I get going, or I'm going to lose you, is that 96% of the universe you can't see. What does that mean? What's there? It's full of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but it's invisible stuff like quarks and muons and electrons and all kinds of things that we can't see either because they're microscopic or they're on a different wavelength like ultraviolet light, which we can't see with our naked eye, which you sure can feel if you stand in the sun too long. So
Right.
you get the idea that there are these things that are invisible. So before I answer any questions going forward, and you need to go back and play this again, is to understand frequency is the medicine of the future, what I call vibrational medicine. What does that mean? As we know, whether it's Einstein or Newtonian, everything has energy. A rock, a tree, it doesn't matter. It has energy. Energy equals mass, mass equals energy, which means they're interchangeable. And the cool part about God's intelligent design here is that nothing ever ends. It just changes form.
Wow.
That being said, what is this 96% of energy around us that affects us, right? There to get there, and forgive me because I have to preface this, or none of this is
Right.
going
And
to make.
this is good. This is
Can't
good.
get into AO scan until you understand energy.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, I appreciate that. For example, if you believe in God, and I hope you do,
Definitely.
there's nothing there physical that we can grab onto. It's faith, it's energy, it's a belief, it's a feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Love. We can't prove love exists, but you sure can feel it. You know
There you
when
go.
you are, and you know
Mm-hmm.
when you're not,
Right.
right? What is that?
Yes.
That's energy. That's frequency. Sometimes you can read somebody's thoughts because you can finish their sentence before they do, especially if you've been
Mm-hmm.
married to them.
Right.
Yeah, because in quantum physics, you get something called an entanglement, which is called the quantum entanglement, which just basically means you're separated, but you're not separate.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is connected to everything, right? There is no distance. We know this because we've done classic scientific experiments like, looking at photons of light, and we find
Mm-hmm.
out that they're both a particle and a wave at the same time, but it depends upon who's observing it. Wow, that'll blow your mind. We could go off all day on that. Or in quantum physics, something called superposition, which means exactly that. A light can be a particle or a wave. So what's that got to do with AO scan? Everything, because everything is frequency,
Mm-hmm.
including how well you feel, including your thoughts, including your faith, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, what's coming at you that you can't see, like electromagnetic frequencies, which we're being bombed by, that are actually radioactive, what I call ionizing radiation.
Mm-hmm.
So I say all that to frame where we're going, is to say, if you're new to this, it's going to be very out there, right? Because we're not drawing blood,
Right.
right? We're not making you poop or pee or cough or sweat. We're
Mm-hmm.
not collecting bodily fluids. We're not running you through all kinds of tests and labs and looking at blood sugars, blah, 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 blah. What are we doing? We're going to use a type of technology that has come into being that, first of all, let me say this, is being used by the Cleveland Clinic and the Mayo Clinic as I speak. This technology we're talking about today is not some joke. This is used in integrative medicine by the Cleveland Clinic and the Mayo Clinic. And guess how they're using it? To predict heart attacks.
Wow.
The technology that you have access to that I'm talking about today, which is available to the general public,
Mm-hmm.
is that good. That you have very prestigious integrative medical clinics using this technology. So, what is an AO scan? AO just means for applying optimum. If you're listening to this call, you know about Coach Tay. You know about natural health. You're
Mm-hmm.
interested in being optimum.
Mm-hmm.
For example, I'll ask you, Coach Tay, what is the optimum amount of vitamin D3 every human should have every day?
Well, I always tell my clients to shoot for at least 10,000 IUs
Right.
because
And what's in a box, the total?
we just don't get enough of it.
But what's in a box of total cereal?
I have no idea.
Yep. Zero.
Zero.
You're recommending
Wow.
10,000. The cereal is selling you 60.
Wow.
What's optimum and what is meant to keep you away from what we call stage 4 or 5 of illness?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that being said, the AO is designed in order for us to have information, and I want you to hear this, for us to understand where we've been,
Mm-hmm.
where we are, and where you're going. Imagine if you knew that information about yourself.
Wow.
That's why I said Cleveland and Mayo is using that to predict a heart attack. They can see
Yeah.
markers in the AO scan that you're on your way to having one. And let's face it, you know this, coach. Many people have myocardial infarctions, they have angina, they have, pectoris, they have all kinds of, there's pain going on my left arm. I don't know why, and
Right.
it's already too late.
Exactly.
So you're having a heart attack. Oops,
Mm-hmm.
how come I didn't have any signs or symptoms? Because it was creeping up on you. So that plaque, that arteriosclerosis, that ability
Mm-hmm.
of cholesterol to become deposited in your arteries is actually a frequency. It has a
Wow.
vibration. It has a frequency or a vibration tied to it. Everything does.
Mhm.
Okay. So long way to answer your question. Hang in
I
there.
know, but it was so needed. And actually you painted word pictures in my mind. And I'm sure the audience would be able to understand this better because of the way that you answered it. So I appreciate that. I really do.
So what is
So
that AO scan? It's basically like a galvanic skin response, like how some people can do a lie detector, right? It picks up
right.
on nuances in your vibrations that you're lying.
Mm-hmm.
Lying is an energy. Yeah, we have no
Yes, it
problem
is.
using that in a court of law.
Negative energy.
But we have no problem using that in a court of law.
Right.
Okay. So the AO scan is working on frequency too. So you can't sit there and go, oh, what a bunch of you know what. And I don't want
Mm-hmm.
to install a bunch of scam or hooey. Uh-uh.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then you're calling the court system a scam. So the point is, technology that has been useful has been demonstrated to help you. That's what this is similar to. The difference is it's using your voice. And this
Mm-hmm.
may get into some of your questions. But the voice has a specific pattern. Just like you have a unique thumbprint that nobody else has got.
Mm-hmm.
You have a unique tone and frequency to every consonant, every vowel, every syllable. How can you emphasize something, whether your energy is up or down, can be picked
Mm-hmm.
up by the AO scan in milliseconds. It's kind of like artificial intelligence. It's working with a base wave of what is
Mm-hmm.
perfect, and then your wave where you're at, and it compares them milliseconds. It says this wave looks like this, but your
Mm-hmm.
wave is all over the place. Something's wrong, and it can pick up frequencies in there as to why that wave doesn't match optimum.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Okay.
just with your voice.
Just with the voice. That's amazing.
And here's what's wild: 95% of that is accurate.
Wow.
Which means you can look at that scan and about 90 to 95% of it is dead on. And we didn't have to cut you, poke you, prod you, bleed you, or make you pee.
And see, most of us are very physical. We only believe what the eyes can see. And I love how you broke down faith and love because, those are things that we feel energy. So thank you for that. Great explanation.
Thank
So,
you.
just as importantly
Does,
as
does that
what
kind
it
of
is,
does that kind of answer it?
oh, that totally answers it and more. It
There's a
paints
lot
it
more to
paints
talk about.
pictures.
It'll start
Yeah.
from the we go. Okay,
It'll
cool.
all come together. It'll all
Yeah,
come together.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
what about the AO scan is not? So, you told us what it is. What is it not?
Yeah. So is it a cure-all end-all? No. Is it a type of tool that is diagnostic? No. Can
Mhm.
it give you information that could help you figure out what's going on with you? Yes. Can it, give frequencies back to you that may alter the chemistry of your body or what the cells are doing? The answer is
Mhm.
yes, because cells in the body vibrate. This is a fact, not a
Mhm.
hypothesis. You have roughly 60 to 100 trillion cells in your body given on your size, right? Every one of those cells, I don't care if it's in your fingernail or your liver, vibrates at a harmony or a frequency, right?
Wow.
And in that frequency, it's either going to be optimum or suboptimum. A cell can
Okay.
only be three things. It can be healthy, it can go into apoptosis, which means I'm in a coma,
Mm-hmm.
or it can divide abnormally, which is the big C. You don't want the last two.
Right.
You want optimum. How do
Wow.
you feel optimum every single day? Scan. It's always going to tell you whether you are or you aren't. What foods are balancing with you, what foods are not. What parts of your metabolism, and Coach
Mm-hmm.
Tay, you're an expert in metabolic health. This is going to help you to look at those
Mm-hmm.
cholesterols, those fats, those lipids, those triglycerides, that blood pressure, that inflammation in the body.
Yes.
When you have that kind of information about what's happening to you, you now know what to do to change the outcome of what's going to happen to you.
Right.
So let's say, God forbid, 3 years from now, you have a heart attack and it's not good. Maybe you had a stroke with it and your life's a mess and you just lost your house because you don't have enough money to pay the bills.
Mm-hmm.
What if you did a scan today and looked at it and said, whoa, I've got problems with my circulation here?
Mm-hmm.
And you changed your lifestyle. You listen to Coach Tay. You start making recommendations. We can rescan to see if it's going in the right direction.
Uh-huh.
And that 3 years never becomes doom and gloom.
Because you got on top of it. You got ahead of it.
Yeah, but what is that worth? Put a
Huh.
price.
You can't put a price on that.
And that's what's wrong with our medical system today. When
Mm-hmm.
do you go to the doctor?
When we're sick, when things are already falling apart.
Nobody ever goes there and says, "Hey, I feel great. How do I stay that way?" Because they
Right.
won't they won't know what to tell you.
So true.
So
So
what
true.
can not? I look at that and go, I don't know. Because when I look at it, it gives me nothing but information. It's not a
Right.
cure-all. It's not all knowing. It's a way for us to have a way to assess ourselves, like,
Mm-hmm.
where am I? Am I in
Right.
good shape or not? You still should see a regular doctor. Absolutely. I'm not saying that. But I use the scan almost on a daily basis. I can run
Mm-hmm.
it in the morning, the evening, at supper. I can run it anytime I want just to see where I'm at. Or we have something called music tones. This thing will
Mm-hmm.
actually develop music for you. It's going to have the right frequencies and notes and tones already built into it artificially. Boom. As soon as
Mm-hmm.
it's done looking at you, you listen to those tones. You can use what's called bone conduction headphones. That's my favorite. Or you can just listen to it out loud or your own headphones, right? You can play this music as often as you want. What's embedded in the music is healing frequency.
I can
Wow.
speak on that personally.
I'll think.
I've been using the music for months. It's amazing. It's made a big impact on my life.
Yeah. And I'll say this very, very gingerly. I've actually had people reduce their medications for mental and nervous disorders by listening to the tones.
I believe that. I
Listening
do.
to
It's
music
possible.
actually heals people. So
You
that's
answered
been blows your
the
mind on
third
this.
question.
So let me ask you a question, Coach Tay. Were you a little bit in disbelief when you were listening to the tones and you felt it heal you?
Oh, I am such a skeptic with things that I can't see. It has to be proven to me. So when I am skeptical about something, I have to dig in deep and do my own research. And that's exactly what I did. And then I started using the technology on myself. And within, I would say, a week, I saw a difference in how I felt in
Wow.
my emotions. I felt more grounded, more at peace, actually. And I was able to accept, because I had recently been diagnosed with Bell's palsy. I was able
Uh-huh.
to finally accept this as what it was. Instead of feeling sorry for myself, is kind of what I was locked in. The technology for me just made me feel like there was hope. I just felt more grounded. So I can personally speak on how my emotions had a major shift from using and listening to the balancing harmonics.
Cool. So emotions, right?
Yes.
Are they real or are they energy?
Well, that's a good question. I would say they are both, but mostly energy because you can feel emotions. You can
Okay.
walk into a room and feel that maybe somebody just finished arguing with someone. You can feel the tension in the room. I walk into my office sometimes, and if I'm not feeling so good, my coworker, she doesn't even see me. She just hears my voice saying good morning, and she says, "Uh-oh, what's wrong?" She feels the energy, So definitely emotions are energy.
Yeah. So like if you look at, the first letter E, E stands for energy, motion, energy and motion.
Wow.
And yes, we feel it. We feel sad.
Yes.
We feel happy. We feel jealousy. We feel love. We feel
Mm-hmm.
suspicion. We feel anger, right? Energy and motion. So
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of what the AO scan is looking at. What's the energy doing in the body? Let me ask you a question. Do you think an individual cell, let's go look at a beta cell in your pancreas and ask it, do you have feelings? What do you think?
I'd say yes. I
Yeah,
don't know. I
it's a
would say
fact. It
yes.
used to be a hypothesis that
Uh-huh.
cells had consciousness.
Hmm.
It's now a fact.
Wow.
What does that mean? If we're made of 60 trillion cells and they all have consciousness, that means they're listening to everything you're saying. So when you stand in front of that mirror and say, "I don't like how I look. I don't like me. I don't, I'm overweight. I'm this. I'm that."
Oh,
Guess
that's powerful.
everybody. And when we talk about those cells in the human body having consciousness,
Yeah.
not only that, 50,000 cells change out every second of your life. 50,000 every second. And they
Wow.
communicate. And this is also a fact. All cells communicate via electrical resonant energy. What does that mean? Check this out. Electricity is a nutrient.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, probably the only integrated medical doctor that will say that. That vibration and frequency is a nutrient. Electricity is a way for cells to communicate with each other. They have to talk to each other across vast distances, right? But they
Mm-hmm.
can do so in milliseconds. And that blows my mind. When we look at that, we start to go, oh, wait a minute. If our red blood cells are changing out every 3 months and they're replaced at 200 million per hour, we got 50,000 cells changing every second. We better scan ourselves to see what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Because what a difference a day makes.
Sounds
So
like
there's
what a difference a couple of
what
minutes
is it?
make.
What is it not? It's a tool to help you see where you're going. Are you doing
Mm-hmm.
the right things? Are you making the right choices, the right change? Because if you're doing something that's going to make your car crash, stop doing it.
Right.
So when the doctor says don't drink, don't smoke, they're not kidding. You're going to crash the car. So the AO scan gives us that kind of information.
Mm.
I look at it as it's a wellness tool. It's an
Right.
information tool, not a diagnostic machine. We're not here to diagnose and prescribe a treat. I don't even want anything to do with that.
Mm-hmm.
What I want is to say to somebody, hey, look at the scan for yourself. I can send this to you in an email in real time as I'm talking to you. I can
Mm-hmm.
do an AO scan with somebody in Malaysia right there, right then and there, and I do it all the time. I see people
Mm-hmm.
from all over the world over this medium, over Zoom, Coach Tay, and they call and they go, hey, I need help, blah, blah, blah. And I do an interview. And then as they're talking, I capture the voice, it analyzes it, and with 10 minutes, I'm sending that back to them. They
Mm-hmm.
open it. Yeah, hey, we're half a world apart. And they open the email and they're looking at exactly what I'm looking at from 10 minutes ago.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to wait 3 days for a blood test. And then I can tell that person, hey, there's some things going on here. Do you see this? Yeah. What do you think we should do? I'm always involving the client, always.
Right.
I don't call them patients. I call them clients or
I like
customers,
that. I love that
which we
word.
are.
Mm-hmm.
And I want them to look at the information as well.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, there's big words in Greek and Latin.
It sure
Oh
is.
no. But if yeah, but if you're going to travel to Mexico, you got to speak Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to
So,
travel in medicine, you got to speak Greek and Latin.
right.
And if you don't, it's called Google.
Google is my best friend for sure.
I've had more people in my career because of this AO scan say, Dr. J, it's one thing to have you help me out because I know you're more of an expert than I am. You have more, knowledge and understanding of integrative and remedies and blah, 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 blah. and I'm very good at helping people figure out what's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But they're the ones that have to do the work. They're the ones that have to change their lifestyle. They're the ones that have to eat differently. They're the ones that have to
Mm-hmm.
exercise. They're the ones that have to change their attitude,
That's right.
right?
Yes. And
Your
a big
scan
part.
showing you whether you are or you aren't. You can't lie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, Bob Bablin. I get really
That's
excited about it.
so it's so true though. So you
But it's
explained what it is, what it's not. It's not a diagnostic medical tool, but it
no.
is certainly a very powerful technology. So the one thing that surprises people is that the voice is used as part of the scan. So what is it actually looking at in our voice?
Mhm. Frequency. For example, if I'm talking to you, I'm going, "Hey, Coach Tay, how you doing today? How's my energy?"
Very low.
What for? Hey, Coach Tay, what a great time you got God in your life. Woo!
Yes, very high energy.
What's the scan going to say?
Yeah, the scan is going to pick up on a lot more than that.
A lot more than that. So it's looking at the highs and lows. It's looking at the nuance. It's looking at the inflection.
Mm-hmm.
All of that is vibratory. And it's hard for people to understand that.
Yeah,
But in your voice is embedded all the frequencies and tones of what's really going on with you. And that's unbelievable. Again, I'm going to say this again. Cleveland and Mayo Clinic wouldn't use this technology if it was a joke.
right.
Okay, so let's get serious. Okay, I want people to understand that your DNA,
Mm-hmm.
right? Our DNA, right? We all heard of DNA, is like an antenna. And this has also been a proven fact. And so I'm
Mm-hmm.
hitting on a lot of these quantum physics facts that you don't get taught in high school.
Right.
The DNA inside your cells is actually an antenna. It transmits energy from one point to another.
Mm.
Frequency is passed along through the body. Hey, if I put you in an electric chair, you're not going to do well. Am I passing frequency? Yeah. But if I pass a subtle frequency, it can actually be healing. If I pass a disruptive frequency, it can be damaging.
Damaging. Yeah, I get that.
Military has all kinds of weapons like this. They can point something at you and you don't see anything, and it literally can disrupt your cells. If you think
Wow.
that's a joke, you've been living in a closet. That's a real
Wow.
thing. So, that's a bad use of energy.
Mm-hmm.
In a positive way, think about like first time you scrape your knee and you run to mom and mom kisses it. For some reason, it feels better. What did she transfer?
That positive, loving energy.
You think we don't feel that?
We do.
Boy, a dog will take being kicked over being ignored because it wants to be touched and wants energy. That's a bad
Mm-hmm.
example, but my point being is we all need energy to
Yes.
interact. And that energy is so critical, whether that energy heals you,
Mm-hmm.
takes it away.
Oh,
So I'll say this. In the year 2026, you're in a frequency war. You need to wake up
things have
because you're being
changed.
bombed with 5G, which is going to go to 6G, which our bodies aren't even used to 4G yet. And then you've got microwave, you've got plastics, microplastics. 0.05% of your brain is now plastic. That's a fact. I could do this all day. So you're being bombed by
Mm-hmm.
outside stuff that you have no knowledge of, and it's coming at you from every direction. Your cell
Right.
phone.
Things that we can't see. Right.
So we need to
Mm-hmm.
counter that by bringing in harmonious, optimum, balancing frequencies. Just like you said, I listen to the tones and I feel calmer. I can't explain
Mm-hmm.
it. Well, that's because it gave you a healing energy, a calming energy, which your cells went, ah, instead of
Mm-hmm.
something disruptive. Does that
Right.
make sense? Yeah.
Totally. Totally makes
Think
sense.
about signals, frequency, vibration. And if you stay there, you'll understand that you have energy, you have frequency, you have vibration, just like anyone. You're unique. There's nobody else like you. But you can be disrupted by bad
Mm-hmm.
energy. Just like a frequency can shatter a wine glass, if that
Mm-hmm.
tone is adjusted just right to make that glass vibrate, it will bust.
Right.
Okay, what if I applied that same type of technology to a virus or a strep infection?
Hmm.
What do you think would happen to the virus or the strep?
Hmm. That's a good question. I think it would be disrupted. If you're applying the positive energy, it would be disrupted in a positive way.
Yeah,
It maybe stop its growth or something.
correct. So that's how your body deals with pathogens. How do you think your immune system finds all these creepy crawly things? It looks
Hmm.
for the frequency. It's blind.
Interesting.
It's going through a massive organism, right? And you got to go find
Mm-hmm.
some strep infection that's stuck, in your lymph node. It finds it by frequency.
Wow.
And, and will apply frequency to help disrupt it. So here's a scan that can kind of help us figure that out. What does that
Mm-hmm.
mean? It means that virus, that pathogen, that toxin, that chemical, that poison has a signature and can be picked up by the scan. Make sense?
Yes, it
In your
does.
in your voice. It blows.
Yes, it does. And it is mind blowing, absolutely mind blowing.
Right.
So let's
And
talk about some of the reports that the client will receive. Why is it important that clients don't try to interpret everything or diagnose themselves when they see
no,
those
no, no.
reports?
You don't want to do that. I always tell people when they first start with scan is like, look, it's information. It's
Mm-hmm.
not the end of the world. For example, you can be spending time with somebody who has an infection. You don't actually have the infection, but you're close enough to them that you picked up on the energy.
Mm,
Could that be picked up in a scan? Yes. If you've been exposed to tuberculosis and you never had it, it would show up in a scan. If you're exposed to COVID, didn't have it, it would show up in a scan. So sometimes we see things in the scans and we ask
mm-hmm.
people questions. Hey, are you feeling okay? And they're like, yeah. Well, you don't have the actual infection.
Mm-hmm.
You were exposed to it. Does that make sense?
It does. It
Okay.
does.
You're on an airplane. Somebody's coughing and hacking. Everybody's exposed, but not
Right.
everybody will get off that plane and get sick.
That's a point. That's a good point.
But if I scanned every single person coming off that plane,
Mm-hmm.
they'll all have the virus.
Wow.
A
That's a
lot
good
of
way to
them,
break that down.
yeah, so we got to think. A lot of them have a very strong immune system. They slept,
Mm-hmm.
they ate food, they're fine, they walk off, their body beats up the virus, it's gone, move on. You didn't even know you were exposed unless you ran a scan.
Right.
So I always tell people it's going to pick up on things like that. You can't freak out.
Mm-hmm.
So what I tell people is scanning more than once, two, three times is better
Mm-hmm.
because you have more information. And the
Right.
scan, as it scans you over and over and over again, it's learning about you. It's
Mm-hmm.
learning who you are, how you tick, what affects you, what doesn't. And that's really good when you start seeing scans that have, a laundry list like this of stuff. And then
Mm-hmm.
the next time you scan them, it's less. Next time you scan them, it's less. Next time you scan them, it's less. The problems are going away, not multiplying.
Mm-hmm.
That's only going to happen if you apply the recommendations based upon the scan. Just using the scan to heal you is not enough, but it'll
Right.
give you information like, hey, you should probably do something with your food here. You're eating way too much dairy, and this thing's telling you dairy is bad news. Get
Right.
off it. It doesn't cost you anything to change that behavior.
That's right.
And here's information to tell you what the food culprit was. That's pretty powerful.
Very powerful.
So you
And
kind of got to look at it all, take your time, talk to somebody
mm-hmm.
like Coach Tay, and just say, "What do you think of this?" And of course, if you're on
Mm-hmm.
medications, right? Sometimes the medications are helping with something and it won't show up. Let's say you got bad
Mm-hmm.
cholesterol, you're taking a cholesterol drug. It's probably not going to show you much on cholesterol because you're taking a drug for it.
Mm-hmm.
But let's say that drug has side effects and it's harming your liver. All of a sudden, you see the liver's got elevated enzymes. And you're like,
Mm-hmm.
well, do you drink? I don't drink. I don't smoke. I'm a good person, blah, blah, blah. Well, are you on any medications? Yeah. Oh, okay. Let's look at the side effects. Oh, hey, did you know that this drug has liver damaging side effects? No. Well, it's happening to you. I would go
Mm-hmm.
back to your doctor and have a new discussion.
Wow. That would
Is
be the way
that,
to handle
that life
that.
changing? Is that life saving? I think so. I think so. So yeah,
Yes.
it'll tell you where there's interactions with, if the drug medication is not balancing with your body will say, I'm not happy with this.
Mm-hmm.
Believe me, there's more than one drug. So it might behoove you to say, I'm going to call my doctor and see if I can get on something different.
Mm-hmm.
Me, I want to help them naturally.
Right. So do I.
Right, because 90% of your health is affected by lifestyle, stress, and the environment.
Right.
And you
We
can
change
change
those things.
all three with
We can
your
change
health.
those things. Right.
Right. Which is what you do and I do, right? So your MD, unfortunately, doesn't have the time to talk to you about lifestyle, doesn't have the time
Mm-hmm.
to talk to you about dairy, doesn't have the time to talk to you about your environment or how stress is damaging your body. They just give
Mm-hmm.
you a drug and you're out the door.
Literally.
Yeah.
Within 10 minutes sometimes. Because most MDs are so busy, they really don't have the time to sit down and really discuss what's going on with you.
Yeah, and it's nothing against the people. It's just the system is broke.
The system, right?
It's bad. So, let's talk about frequencies, right? Are you familiar with Hertz? HZ?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So these are measurable frequencies that are known, right?
Mm-hmm.
For example, if we took a Hertz frequency of like 174, right? Nobody's probably heard about that on this call. Um, you know what that frequency does? It numbs pain.
174.
Yeah. 285 repairs your cells. 396 releases guilt and fear. It actually works on emotions. 639
Mm-hmm.
deepens relationships and your heart connection. 963, which is the highest frequency recorded, we also call this the God frequency,
Mm-hmm.
activates your pineal gland, allows you to pray and to meditate and connect to the Lord. Did you know that?
Did not.
Yeah.
Did not.
The number three, six, and nine are very, very important in religion when it comes to frequency. So we actually have frequencies that are healing
Mm-hmm.
you. Imagine if you were hit with 963 hertz, which is a God frequency. How would you feel? Ah. But what if you were hit with a frequency that's designed to make you sick,
Mm-hmm.
pull you back? That can happen
Wow.
too. So when I say it's a frequency war, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
kidding. There are
Yeah,
frequencies
and
out there
the
that are,
world around us is designed to be the negative frequencies for sure.
yeah, because hey, here's something interesting, right? When I do
Mm-hmm.
this and I take two hands and I put them together, right? What am I doing?
Praying.
Correct. But when you do this, it's called a phase conjugate mirror in quantum physics. What does that mean? It means we are constantly under something called entropy. We're born, we grow, we fall apart, we dissolve, we're recycled.
Mm-hmm.
Negentropy is taking that same arrow and reversing it. It's been proven now when you put your hands together like this in front of your heart, you expand your heart field 6 feet. You increase your frequency to 963.
Isn't that
What
interesting?
happens? What happens to the entropy field?
Mm-hmm.
Birth to death stops and turns around and goes the other way. When
Okay, you
you
lost me. You start talking quantum physics, you lose me. But I
no, no,
will say this.
say it
It's
again.
amazing that you say that because when we pray, we everyone puts their hands together like this. It's
Right,
customary.
right.
It's what we do.
You don't even know why you're doing it.
Right, exactly. I don't even know why I'm doing
You
it.
do it automatically because it reverses the time arrow. You want to get younger? Pray.
Pray.
You want to reverse aging? Pray.
You want to reduce stress? Pray.
You want to
For
feel better?
sure.
Right? Because
Pray.
if you do this, you automatically raise your vibration, your frequency much higher, and you reverse the time arrow.
Quantum physics. Wow.
You're younger. I taught that in churches and I blew people away. So my
I
point being,
bet.
there's information we're not getting that's been hidden from us,
Hmm.
but yet we instinctively know to do this. Isn't that amazing?
It is absolutely
Cool.
amazing.
So that's the
This is
kind of information that technology's given us, believe it or not, as to
mm-hmm.
where the energy in you, is it going
Uh-huh.
up or down? Is it going sideways? Are you in trouble? Do you have the wrong frequency? Do you have the right
Mm-hmm.
frequency? Interesting.
Powerful information that can allow someone to know exactly what path they need to take to get things on the right course. So we
Yeah.
talked about if there are medical terms in the reports that they need to or that they don't understand, which there will be some that they don't understand, use Google or some type of search engine to help explain. So, what are
Yeah.
some of the common misconceptions and concerns with people misunderstanding when they first hear about frequency based wellness tools?
Yeah.
People
So
misunderstand it.
I like what you said there. If you're seeing terms in your scan you don't understand, just Google it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you an example. Like one part of the metabolism might tell you something like APO1 and APO2. And what is that? Most people go, I have no idea what that is. If you Google it, it'll say this is a type of protein.
Mm-hmm.
These are proteins that are floating around in the blood. What are they indicative of? Inflammation. What does that mean? Well, something's on fire. And then the more you look at it, the more you study it, you start finding out the only way this happens is if you're eating too many seed oils.
Hmm.
And you can find that out on Google just as easy as I told that to you.
Right.
Too many omega 6s, okay? And that causes inflammation in the artery. This
Mm-hmm.
raises cardiovascular concern, blood pressure, and death. And all because you were eating chips and ice cream and weren't paying attention to the label.
And fried chicken.
I didn't want to say that, but the idea. So let's say you see that. And I had a woman in Kansas that I was actually, I take that back. She was in Texas and she has severe cardiovascular issues. And I ran a scan and that's what popped up over and over and over. And I kept saying, what do you do for a living? She goes, I make
Mm-hmm.
popcorn.
Mm.
I go, tell me what oil you're using. And she
Mm-hmm.
goes, well, vegetable, canola, and soy. I said, switch to coconut.
Mm-hmm.
She goes, what? Well, that's expensive. I go, switch to coconut. Your millennials will beat your door down. And that's exactly what she did. She took out
Mm-hmm.
the soy and she took out the vegetable and the canola and she put in coconut. It changed the flavor a little bit and cost more for the popcorn. Her sales went up.
Mm. And her
And
health got better.
guess what happened to the APO, APO2,
They went away.
which saved her life. Her product that she was making and selling was
Mm-hmm.
killing her.
Wow.
Nobody told her that. The scan did.
Mm-hmm.
And if
Wow.
she would have waited until she had a stroke, she would have never figured out how she got one.
That's amazing.
That's one
Amazing.
of hundreds that I want people to just kind of go, whoa. So don't think of it as diagnostic. Think of it as giving you information that you need to look at for yourself, right? So it helps you
Right.
understand Google, learn. I didn't want to skip over that. So
Mm-hmm.
interpreting, don't interpret. Look
Mm-hmm.
at what it
Mm-hmm.
is. See what it is. See if it applies to you. And if it
Right.
doesn't, don't worry about it because it's just frequency. But if you have a customer and they have questions, they need to come back to you, Coach Tay, and they
Mm-hmm.
need to ask you, hey, what do you think this means and what can we do to correct it?
Right.
Not doom and gloom.
And
Don't
I
ever.
always encourage my clients to have a role in their healthcare. Don't expect me to do everything. You have got to put some work in.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Everyone has to take control, be an advocate for their own health, and you got to put the work in. So my clients, I tell them all the time, I'm going to guide you, I'm going to help you, but you got to work for this. You're going to have to do some research too.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And I'm
Yes.
like, this is about you.
Mm-hmm.
And when people start equating information to them and they go, hey, this is about me. This is
Mm-hmm.
information that, whoa, I didn't have. Now I can make decisions, life choices to counter that and to change the outcome. In quantum physics, we say every decision you make, every thought you make in a day changes the outcome of your life. It's never static. The possibilities are endless of what you can do with your life. And you can end
Yeah.
up in 50 directions, right?
So
Your
true.
health is the same thing. You can open this door and go, uh-oh, that says RIP on it. You open the next door, whoa, I made it to 102? Which door you want to go through?
Mm-hmm.
That's what you have to think about. So that information is not as diagnostic as it is relevant to what can I do with the interpretation. The interpretation is up to you and with your coach, like Coach Tay.
Right. And I like how you said that. So
Yeah.
clients, they can use this information alongside medical care.
Correct.
Yes.
Or to even see, you can take it to another level and say, am I okay with the medications I'm on? Let's say you do a scan, everything looks good. Hey, at least you have confirmation that
Mm-hmm.
the medication you're taking is worth the money and the time and the expense and the side effects.
Right.
I'm not saying that's the use, but that's
Mm-hmm.
a potential. And if anybody's smart, they're going to look at that and try to use it in a very, very constructive way. This isn't
Mm-hmm.
about take it to your doctor and go, how come you didn't see this? Don't do that.
Right.
Do it. The best doctor in the room is always the customer, not me, not you,
Mm-hmm.
not the MD. Uh-uh. Because who knows you better than you?
I've
And so
always
I
said
say to
that.
somebody, hey, this is showing some issues in X. How do you feel about this? I don't
Mm-hmm.
feel like that shape or form. Well, you should know you're living in that body.
Mm-hmm.
For me to say, well, the scan says this, so therefore you have to do X. No, no, no. It's just information.
Right. It has to
Right.
resonate with the client.
Right. So in the
Yes.
scan, we haven't talked about this, but when people receive their scan results,
Mm-hmm.
they can go over that with you as the coach, or they can do it on their own. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, you're looking at what's called red to red. So we have red, we have yellow, we have green, we have orange. You get the idea. But anything that's
Mm-hmm.
red to red is probably something you should focus on. Or we can use a number system in the
Mm-hmm.
scan. You can decide as the consumer whether you want just color coding, which keeps it simple, or you can get into numbers, which gives you a little more in-depth information.
Mm-hmm.
When I say numbers, it's a scale of 1 to 9, five being perfect, one bad, nine bad, five
Mm-hmm.
good. Get the idea.
Yes.
Care if you're a
Scale.
3, I don't care if you're a 6, I care if it's a 1 or a 9.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean? One, the number one, if it shows up in your scan and you're using that scale, just means that whatever you're doing or whatever this is pulling you down.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're eating, let's say, nightshade vegetables, uh, eggplant, whatever, and the next day you're like, I just feel so sluggish, and you run a scan and it says eggplant is a 1, it's
Mm-hmm.
pulling you down. If it's a 9, it's not pulling you up, it's causing inflammation. It's too much.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like not enough, too much, right? You can even look, let's say it's vitamin D and it's a 1. It probably means you don't have enough vitamin D.
Right.
I've seen 9s on vitamin D, and I've asked those people, are you taking a supplement? Oh, yeah, I take my vitamin D from Walmart. And I'm going, you're done. Why? Because it's toxic.
Wow.
It says on the, I don't care what it says on the label. Scan's telling you it's not a good product. I see that all the time with people trying to save a buck.
Yeah, I've seen that too because we know the supplements in these grocery stores and stuff,
Oh, they're
they are
horrific.
very low quality.
They're not
Very.
what you think they are. And probably 90% of that vitamin D3 tablet is a bunch of stuff I don't even want to talk about.
Right.
So be
Exactly.
careful about your supplements. You need to talk to someone like Coach Tay or myself,
Mm-hmm.
uh, because our reputations depend upon the fact that we first do no harm. A
Mm-hmm.
scan does you no harm. Our supplements that we use company supplements that are the highest quality on the planet. We want to make sure that what we put in you does not cause a problem. You only get side benefits, not side effects. The scan can confirm that.
Right.
So,
And these are supplements that we use ourselves.
yeah, I've been using it for 30 years. So I'm not
Wow. Well, you got me beat.
thank you.
So we're on the section about the role of the practitioner, and you've
Yeah.
certainly answered some of these questions
Okay.
here. From your perspective, what does responsible use of this technology look like?
Results. I have been in medicine for over 40 years,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I've been through a lot. And as a naturopath, an integrated medical guy, for 35 years, I did a lot with, recommending food, supplements, you name it. I've probably studied it or recommended it or done it myself.
Mm-hmm.
what I saw when a technology came along like the AO scan was much higher improved results because, and I want to be very clear on this, and maybe you can go back and edit it and put it right into the slide, but the remedy is ineffective unless you know what the cause is. Too often I have seen, and this is not a knock against naturopaths,
Hmm.
but I've taught naturopaths my whole career, and there's a lot of them that weren't educated correctly.
Hmm.
So if they've got, a hypertension problem, they're giving them capsicum, garlic, and parsley. And I'm going, that's great, but you're working on the symptom. What's causing the high blood pressure? Well, I don't
Right.
know. Well, then that's the wrong treatment. You might use those herbs to help bring it down, but you're not going
Hmm.
after what caused it. This person
Hmm.
wasn't born with high blood pressure. What happened? That's
Right.
obviously their lifestyle, right? Stress, whatever. But my point being is that the scan helps me determine, am I getting results right away? I know within 90 days whether I'm on the right track or not.
Hmm.
So what I like about the scan is it's a way for us to know where's that problem coming from. It's way more deep than just I've got a high blood pressure issue and my doctor's got me on a drug. Well, why? I don't know. They didn't tell me why. Well, why do you have high blood pressure? I don't know. I was never told why. So you
Uh-huh.
don't know why you have high blood pressure. You're just treating the symptom. Yeah. Well, that's not going to fix you. Correct?
So true. That is so true. And that
Yeah.
follows the medical standard. The medical standard is they treat the symptoms.
Right.
They're not really concerned about finding the cause of some of the chronic health issues.
So that's what the technology looks like to me.
Hmm.
Is I have a concrete, bona fide way of measuring what's going on with somebody without costing them an arm and a leg
Hmm.
I could do in 10 minutes with a phone call. These people, I've got my people so trained, I don't even have to see them anymore. They just call up and leave, a 10-second voice message. I run a
Hmm.
scan. I send them an email, go, yeah, things are looking good, but you might want to change this, that, and the other thing. It's super easy to help people that way. Or people, get the scan themselves. I have
Hmm.
people all over Canada that have bought, the AO scan subscription.
Hmm.
Costs them 149 bucks a month, right?
Right.
But they have a family of five, they have a family of three, whatever. What are they using the scan for? Everybody.
Everybody. Right.
And everybody gets scanned all the time. And then they're like, oh, well, we need to add this, or we need to do that, or change this, or I got to stop eating that food. I need more of this. Oh, I got some bad emotions going on. I got to fix that.
Hmm.
Hey, you do that, that ounce of prevention
Hmm.
is a ton of cure. They never have to go to the hospital because they started doing things to fix problems before
Hmm.
the car crashes. Does that make
Before the
sense?
car crash. Yes, it
Don't wait till the
does.
car crashes and then go to the doctor. It's too late. It costs you arm and a leg, literally sometimes, literally,
Literally an arm and a
literally
leg.
it'll cost you arm and a leg. So my point being is like, wow, prevention is something we're not doing. And AO scan, in my opinion,
Hmm.
is to answer your question, the most important part of that technology is because it's giving you an eye inside your body that you didn't have before. It's giving you information you didn't have before, and it could be life saving or life changing.
Hmm.
So, a lot of people say to me, "I don't care if it's 150 bucks a month. My whole family's using it, and we
Right.
get great results, and we're not running to the doctor every 5 minutes and blah 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 blah." It doesn't mean it's a cure all end all. It just gives you
Hmm.
information that you
Right.
can turn around what's happening to you before it becomes too big of a problem, or if you already have a problem, are you going in the right direction to correct it, have the body return back to optimum?
Hmm.
If you're optimum, you don't need a doctor. If you're optimum, you don't need a drug. If you're optimum, you're having a great life. If you're optimum, you've got a million worries today.
Hmm.
If you're sick, you got one.
Yeah, getting better. So true. So if I heard you clear, and I know I heard you clear, but I just want to restate this.
Thank you.
Having a practitioner to interpret the reports, that's important. However, a client can purchase this scan independently for a membership of their own for $149 a month. So
Yeah.
they can scan anytime they want
I can scan 5 times a day, every day until infinity.
and beyond. I had to
And
throw
yeah.
that in there.
Well, as long as you have an internet connection, you're golden. So my AO scan it's really like an app. You can put it on your phone.
Right.
It's that simple.
It's
You're
that
paying for
simple.
that. And why is it? And people always go, "Why is it so expensive? $150 a month." Do you got a computer that you think is going to hold all these, massive records and files? No,
Exactly.
got to pay for that space.
I keep it here, handy dandy on the phone.
But I'm not saying
Handy
that.
dandy.
Not saying everybody should go out and buy one. I'm just saying that a lot of people do that because they like the fact that they maybe live in the sticks, or even in Georgia, you could be living 2 hours from a hospital. Would
Hmm.
it be nice if you had a way to make sure that barring emergency medicine, you're pretty
Right.
much away from the ER and the OR. That's what I want to do.
And I actually look at it as a part of my daily care. Like this is a part of my daily care routine, running my scans, seeing where I'm off, and making the proper adjustments so I can get things back in alignment before the car crashes. There you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. And if we all did that, boy, we'd have a Merry Christmas, right? All right. So thank you on that. You know what? I just wanted to catch up here. There's so many things I wanted to talk about, and we've talked
Mhm.
about so much, right?
Yes.
But just all I want to say is be open-minded.
Hmm.
Okay, you are in a world that is about to reach what's called singularity. The singularity is going to happen in about the year 2030, from what I'm reading. What does that mean? It means when man and AI become one.
Yeah, that's going to be scary.
It's going to be scary. So here's the point. I can't stop it.
Hmm.
Stop it. Yeah, you can talk smart that you're going to go up to, Canada and find a chunk of woods and throw your cell phone in the lake. I got news for you. You're going to still be touched. They're called satellites. So there's nowhere you can go. So that being said, what do
Hmm.
we do? I think you got to fight fire with fire.
Right.
So for me, if I'm being bombed with maybe frequencies that are not healing to me, maybe they're coming man-made, maybe they're ionizing, which means radiation, you know,
Hmm.
they're damaging to me, they're hurting me. What if I had a technology that could literally rebalance me at the end of the day by listening to music? What if I had a technology that showed me, oops, I'm exposing myself to something way too toxic. I got to get rid of this in my life.
Hmm.
That's how you got to think today. You got to
I
up
love
the
it.
you need protection, right?
Yes.
And I'll say this all day. If you're not doing supplements, you're very uneducated because the food supply is a nightmare.
Yes. And some people think because they're eating organic or whatever, they have a clean diet, the soils are depleted. So you're still not getting what you need. So supplements are vital,
It's an
vital.
they are vital. And even if we say I'm going to grow my own food, blah, yeah, and they're giving you heirloom, plants,
Mhm.
great, but that's really rare. What you're buying,
Right.
at the
Exactly.
hardware store or at the plant station is all genetically modified anyway.
Scary
So
stuff.
how do we get away from this nightmare? Fight fire with fire.
Right.
You need to bring as much frequency, good healing frequencies. You need to pray. You need to get things that block EMFs. You need to get an AO scan. You need to take supplements to raise your vibration. You need to do homeopathy. You need to do all these different things to take it to another
Hmm.
level. So no matter what's coming at you, you can deal with it.
Right. And you said we need to do things to block EMFs. That's electromagnetic frequencies, correct? And where do
Correct.
we get bombarded with those from the cell phones and different things like that?
There are so many sources. Your cell phone just being one of them. I never put
Hmm.
that to my. It's on speaker no matter when I use it. Okay, don't touch it to your head. Second, your electric meter on the outside of your house
Hmm.
is the highest EMF radiating device you have on your home.
Wow.
Yeah. So if your bedroom outside wall is connected to the electrical box coming into your house,
Hmm.
you need a bedroom. You're being zapped. So I use what's called a
Wow.
tri-field meter. For
Hmm.
those that are listening, TRI, field meter. You can buy them anywhere off of Amazon. And you can walk around and do this and verify it yourself. You'll go near your electrical and it's whoop, and you're like, wow, that's got to be going through my whole house. Uh-huh. Second, your Wi-Fi. Turn it off at midnight, turn it back on at 6 in the morning. Why is that on when you're sleeping and you're cooking your brain? because your
Hmm.
cell phone is doing this all night. Ping, 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 ping. Every electric device in your house. Your oven is doing that. Your refrigerator is doing that. Your TV is doing that. Everybody's trying to talk to your Wi-Fi,
Mm-hmm.
and your brain is in the middle of it.
Wow.
So that's just a small piece of what I'm talking about.
That sounds like a big piece, but I get what you're saying. Yeah. And then they have all these smart homes. You have the smart this and the smart that. So you're right. The
When you get
Wi-Fi is
the
talking to all these things.
what happens when we get to singularity? You're not going
Wow.
to be able to tell what's reality and what's not. You better have a device or a way to keep yourself grounded, or you're not going to know what day it is.
Wow.
It's scary what's coming, but I feel that we can blend with it. I believe, I read the Bible. In the end, God wins. So it doesn't matter what we mess up here, but we can find ways to coexist.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'll give you an example just real quick, and you can edit this out if you'd like. But I bought what it's called an EMF modulator,
Uh-huh.
like $700. It does 40 acres.
Wow.
So I put that out in my backyard, right? Suddenly, I got turtles, I got coyotes, I got deer, I got water moccasins in my backyard. And all my neighbors are like, when did you get a zoo? Seriously, my neighbors were laughing at me because they're like, there's always wildlife in your yard. And my
Uh-huh.
wife, like, I know why. Because we're the only safe non-EMF house in the neighborhood.
That's why. The
And they
animals,
feel
they
that.
can feel
They,
that.
they feel that.
Wow. That is amazing. That is absolutely
And I've
amazing.
talked to dairy farmers. I'm from Wisconsin originally, and I sold a lot of those same type of appliances to dairy
Hmm.
farmers to protect an entire, milk production. And their milk production goes up 20%.
Wow.
That's the difference between having money and not having money when you're a dairy farmer. 20% makes or breaks you. And the problem
Wow.
was the cell tower was reducing the milk production. Interesting.
Powerful. Yes, this is powerful information. Things
Okay.
that we don't really think about.
And even the AO scan will show you if you're highly
Hmm.
sensitive to EMF, electromagnetic frequency, which is everything we're talking about. It'll even say
Hmm.
that right in the scan. Yeah, you are. And then I tell those people, you need to get all kinds of what's called modulators, or you can't really block it, but you can modulate it.
Right.
And, Coach Tay has plenty of ideas for that. Should you want something like that, just contact her.
Yes. This has been a mind-blowing conversation. I have learned a lot, and I'm very appreciative that we went through this information today.
I think we
Um,
covered.
we covered we covered everything because you're so thorough. So before I could even ask a question, you were on it. You were on it. So thank you again for taking time. And I want to thank whoever watches this video for taking the time to watch this valuable conversation. And thank you so much to Dr. J for sharing his perspective. My goal is always to use the AO scan as a supportive wellness tool, not again to diagnose or label anything, but to help you identify these areas and these patterns, and make some priorities that align with what you're experiencing. If you choose to move forward, we'll take these steps together, step by step, at a pace that feels supportive and manageable for you. And if the AO scan approach feels right, I would love to explore working with you one-on-one to develop a supportive and realistic plan that aligns with your goals, your body, and your mind. So thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much again, Dr. J. Any closing words?
Just want to say, relax and learn, right? Relax and learn. And I can't say enough about you, Coach Tay. You are incredible. The minute you and I met each other, we were kindred spirits. I knew it right away. I'm like, wow, we have
Yes.
to do better. You know what I mean? When you meet somebody, you just go, yeah, it's an
Yes,
energy.
yes.
It's an energy.
It was the energy. Exactly. It was the energy. Well, thank you so much, Dr. J. And I can't wait for us to do something like this again.
Yeah, let's.